Okay. Um, this is a quick message to people. Um, okay, so whenever I'm talking about how the Bible, right? I'm Catholic, by the way. How the Bible isn't very, how would I put it? Reliable. I would say reliable. It's not very reliable due to the fact that people have changed it over time without other people realizing it, right? I feel like it's common knowledge that people have taken certain books out the Bible. You know how the Bible is just a bunch of books, book of Genesis, book of was it Matthew's, right? Mind going blank. So right, Book of Giants was taken out. Um, right, all these things were taken out of the Bible, and a lot of people believe that the Bible has stayed the same um, throughout the years that it's been around, which has been a long ass time, you know? So it's like, how are you for sure going to know that it's always been the exact same, right? And to add to that, I'm actually taking a history class, HRS 11. It's on it's the High Renaissance, and it mentions how that it was in Spain, Rome, you know, to keep the Pope and all these positions, they would make things up to people who didn't understand the Bible too well because it wasn't translated in their language. Like for what was Germany at the time, right? They didn't understand the language that well. So this guy Martin Luther, who spoke both languages, right? He spoke the Latin, um, the Latin that was in the Bibles, right? He spoke that, and he was questioning. They're called. It was like the 95 questions or something that he posted up on something, and he was like, "Yo, this isn't in the Bible, right? Why are these things here? You know, like why are these things being said, basically?" And like one of these things that were being done right by the Roman Catholic Church was it was there was these things called indulgences. Indulgences. Let me get my notes out actually. Um, quick little history lesson to people, right? High Renaissance, the early Renaissance. I mean, High Renaissance. Ottoman Empire. It is not this. Going over to not Baroque. To Northern Humanism, the Reformation and Counter-Reformation. There we go. So there was these things called indulgences, which were like newspapers, and they have a stamp of the papacy, and it was sold by a salesman who was employed by the Roman Catholic Church, right, including Pope put all these things onto them. And it was said, I'm reading this, my notes. It was said that buying indulgences was like buying time out of purgatory. Use your brain. Does that make sense? Are you gonna be able to buy yourself out of purgatory? Now let's get a deeper look into indulgences and see if they make sense or not, right? Because I'm not just gonna be like, oh, it doesn't make sense. So I'll go on my phone. Alright. What were indulgences? So in the Roman Catholic Church, indulgences were certificates that reduced the amount of punishment a person had to endure for their sins. Indulgences were a feature of the medieval penitential system. So the way someone had to receive an indulgence was a person had to perform an action such as praying, making a pilgrimage, or doing good works. So indulgences were granted at the intercession of Christians in prayer or awaiting martyrdom. Were indulgences controversial? They were controversial because they were sold for money, right? So you were basically using money to buy your way out of purgatory, or if people were allowed to buy these, it's because they did a good deed, quote unquote, right? Or prayed. But when you think about it, is this person praying for the good of praying, right? Or are they praying just because they want to go buy an indulgence to buy themselves out of purgatory, buy times out of purgatory and punishment? So that's one thing. That's just one of many things the Roman Catholic Church was doing to like continue to gain power and the trust of people and things like that. And it was done so in a way that, okay, so like I said, some people didn't speak the original language that the Bible was written in, right? Because it wasn't written in Latin, right? It was originally written in Greek, ancient Hebrew, and ancient Aramaic. I forgot what the language was, whatever. So, when you think about it, how can I trust the Bible when so many things like that were happening back in the day? Like, there was this whole period of time where things were being burned because they didn't want them associated. Like, they were like this. It's called the Bonfire of the Vanities. All these paintings, all these things, all these beautiful pieces of art were being burned because no one wanted. When these people came into power, no one wanted anything to do with the Renaissance. Like, they didn't want anything to do with the Renaissance. So they were burning all Greek literature, which, by the way, one of the original languages the Bible was in Greek, right? That's just one of the things. Like, that's personally why I find it hard to believe everything in the Bible. Like, I do believe part of it is still the Word of God, but I feel like a lot of it has been twisted to what the people wanted, to what these people in higher power wanted, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Actually, what I was gonna say, a little rant, it's because I was thinking about it because I had an argument with someone not that long ago, and I was also, another thing I was thinking is, if I have to study like pretty damn hard, and learn this language, right? Ancient Hebrew, ancient Greek, ancient Aramaic. Let me look up how to say that. I'm pretty sure it's like that. Aramaic, yeah. Aramaic. I don't think I'm saying that correctly, but it's like I'm reading it how I'm saying it how I'm reading it. Point is, I have to either know the language and continue studying it, right? So that I can understand the ancient part of it, because it's ancient Aramaic, ancient Hebrew, ancient Greek, right? I have to study to learn that, because language has changed so much over the years. Like, things don't mean the same thing they used to, like when you say roll down the window or hang up the phone, it's because now I'm pressing a button to hang up the phone, right? But back then, you would grab the phone, hang it up, rolling down the window, I push a button down, window comes down. One of my trucks still has this where you actually have to roll the window down, But like people, it's still seen as the same way. Roll the window down, roll the window down, right? Um, so like language has changed so much. So first you're gonna have to study what these things actually meant, you know, to understand the language of back then, because things have changed. Obviously, it just says that. And what else? Yeah, so I had an argument with someone recently. Like, how much do you think? Like, if they're already taking things out the books, right? Because people were like, oh, this is too much for them. How much else do you think they're taking out? How much else do you think they're changing? What makes you think they stopped at just that? Genuine question. What makes you think they stopped at just that? If you want to comment down, right? I love to learn. So if you have actual proof, actual evidence of why my thinking is not correct, share it. Correct me. If I'm wrong, correct me. Please. Please do so. But do so in a manner that I will believe so. Like, you gotta link your source. Right? And I'm my source right now is of what I said about Martin Luther is you can look it up anywhere. It'll tell you. It's the 95 Theses is one of the where he was like saying 95 things that wasn't in the Bible that they were doing. That he wrote down. He called out the Roman Catholic Church. Right? So if you want to prove that I'm wrong, right? Or show how I might be wrong, or agree with me, agree with me, whatever. Share this. Comment down, let me know. Let me know what you think I'm wrong, why you think I'm wrong. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. I do that a lot. Whatever. But I do want to say, right? Obviously, please don't trust everything you hear. I believe in God. I've read part of the Bible. Sometimes some things that I read in the Bible were contradictory, and I was confused, and a lot of the reason why I questioned these things, right? Especially with everything in the past, like how am I supposed to believe everything? It's when it goes down on my laptop, right? And I gotta move it around so that it doesn't dim. Anyways, with everything being changed, everything we don't actually know, because we'll never know. So that's why I question it, because it's pretty easy to convince other people. I convinced the person one time that kiwi birds were green on the inside. All I gotta do is be persuasive. Hitler convinced a shit ton of people that Jews were bad. All you gotta do is be persuasive. I don't agree. I do not agree with anything Hitler did, by the way. Just want to put that out there. I'm just saying he was a persuasive man. I don't fuck with that though, because like people gotta think like, oh, why didn't you think killing off hella people was weird? And it's like how I hear Israelis be like, I've heard a rabbi say that the children in Palestine should be killed because one day they're gonna grow up and kill you. So I should go kill all these random people I see on the street, because what if they kill me someday? Like, what the fuck? Who? Let me find this. See if I can actually find the video. A well-known revered, just multiple things. Revered rabbi preaches slaughter of Gentile babies. Alright. Rabbi justifies what? Question mark, it's on YouTube. Rabbi saying that killing children it stops there. King's Torah writer has no regret. Rabbi, whatever, Yitzhak Shapira explained that killing of an enemy's child is permissible in order to defeat an evil king or tyrant. Not every soul shall live. Rabbi encourages the killing of women and children in Gaza Strip and said it considered a response to the teachings of Ikataf. I'm not clicking anything, by the way. I'm just reading through them. Jewish rabbi encourages killing Gazans, even children, when it sounds more to line up and kill thousands of little girls. A question. It's like that one time, it was on the news outlet where this guy was like, oh, the 17-year-old girl, when they were talking about human trafficking, it's like the 17-year-old girl, and the guy cuts him off from like 17-year-old woman. Woman? I get why you're saying that, you've matured, right? But when you're referring, I would say young woman, she's going into adulthood, but I wouldn't be like, oh, stop right there, that's a woman, you know what I mean? Like, you're talking about someone who's been through quite a lot, and they're like, yeah, 17-year-old girl, like, oh, 17-year-old woman, like, okay, buddy, now I know what side you're on, right?